Peppa Pig has been on the air for 20 years, and you better get ready because the show is set to last another 20. Are you ready to meet the new generation of characters who will be a part of the Piggy show? Eevee Pig. Of course, the next generation of Peppa Pig starts with her younger sister, Eevee Pig. She was born on May 20th, 2025, after a big announcement on several TV channels in England. Eevee joined the show because she's going to be the new main character after Peppa grows up, but that's not all. This new little pig is definitely the heir to the throne of England, at least in the cartoon. If you want proof of that, we're going to show you right now. First, Eevee got a lot of media attention even before she was born. Second, a royal messenger announced her birth, and that kind of thing only happens with princes and princesses. Third, the queen in the show has no relatives. She lives alone in the palace, and if you take into account the fact that Eevee Pig was born in the same hospital as the real princes of England while the whole world was talking about it, it's obvious this little pig is going to be a princess. Does this mean that in a few years the show will take place in London? That's an important change that could happen in the cartoon over the next few years, but you don't need to wait that long to meet the new generation of Peppa Pig. Now you know. Grab your popcorn because it's time for another Cinewave. Alexander Pig. Another character in the next generation is Cousin Alexander Pig, who's going to be Eevee's best friend. This little pig was the youngest character in the show for a long time, but that changed with the birth of Peppa's sister. But there are a few important things that need to be said about Alexander Pig, and the first is, he's going to be a great musician, probably the lead singer of a heavy metal band. Many fans wonder how we know this, and the answer is very simple. Alexander is the only character in the whole show who likes to sleep while listening to the loudest noise possible. In the episode Noisy Night, Uncle and Aunt Pig explained that for their little one to sleep, they need to play the trumpet and turn on the vacuum cleaner. It makes no sense, or at least it wouldn't if we didn't know that in the future, baby Alexander will be a rock star. It might not be the kind of music most people like, but in the future, get ready to see Alexander playing lots of guitar and singing super loud, because when he cries, everyone wakes up. Another thing worth mentioning about Alexander is that he's going to be very close to George because so far, they're the only two male piglets in the show. This could mean that Peppa's brother is going to teach his younger cousin everything he knows about dinosaurs. Does this mean Alexander will have a band called Dino Rock? Rose Rabbit. One of the characters who will lead the new generation is someone you already know, and her name is Rose Rabbit, the younger sister of Rebecca and Richard. This little bunny will probably become a great friend of Eevee Pig since the two will study together at Madame Gazelle's school. But their games might be a bit hard for the piglet to keep up with. That's because Rose is definitely a super energetic character. We already told you that Eevee is going to be a princess, and as everyone knows, the rabbit family is very close to royalty. In Rose Rabbit's case, our guess is she'll take part in lots of sports. Rabbits love to jump, and everyone knows this family is into tons of activities. To be Rose's friend, Eevee Pig will need to be brave. It's going to be super fun watching these two little ones going on adventures and even digging more tunnels at the rabbit's house. Will they find pirate treasure? Robbie Rabbit. Rose's brother Robbie Rabbit is another character who will be a part of this new generation. He's definitely a lot like his grandfather, being a mad scientist, and maybe Robbie will even be smarter than Edmund Elephant. But there's another thing about this character you need to know. He's going to be a skydiver, meaning the little bunny is probably into extreme sports. In the episode Parachute, Mr. Rabbit, who is Robbie's dad, teaches Mommy Pig how to jump out of an airplane. Besides being an architect like Daddy Pig, Mr. Rabbit is also a parachute expert, and that's why we know Robbie will be a bunny just like his dad. And if he takes after his grandpa too, Robbie will travel to space, sail boats, and leave messages in bottles for the future. Will Robbie live for 100 years like Grandpa Rabbit? Let's find out. Would you like to travel to space? Comment #rocket so we can get to know you. Carol Cow. Do you know who Carol Cow is? She's going to be the new daughter of Mr. Bull and his wife. And this little one is the younger sister of one of the most mysterious characters in the show, Claire Cow. Carol will be born in the next season, and we already know a few things about her. Besides her name, Carol is a character who's going to work for the town's TV station alongside Mrs. Rabbit. If you pay close attention, you'll notice that Mrs. Cow shows up in random places several times, and the reason is that she's following the pig family for the TV show. Everyone knows the main character is on a TV channel. Mrs. Cow appears in New York when the pigs are traveling. She's also in London when they visit the Queen, and inside the Science Museum when Edmund flies the rocket. Carol Cow will be a character very much like her mom. She's likely to appear at various moments in the story, even if the episode isn't about her. And in the end, we'll find out that the little cow has just been following the pig family for the town's TV channel. Bruno. Of course, Mr. Bull and Mrs. Cow are also going to have a baby boy, and his name is Bruno Bull, a kid who's definitely going to be really important to the story of the new series. Bruno is a lot like his dad, but what does that mean exactly? It's easy to explain. The little bull knows how to build and break things just like Mr. Bull, and the kids are going to need him whenever it's time to fix their toys. Bruno Bull will be that friend who knows all about construction and tools, not to mention he's probably going to like porcelain pieces just like his dad. Now, the big news about Bruno is that an episode where he's the main character is already being prepared. You know how Mr. Bull pretends to fix the school roof? Well, in this new episode, Bruno, in a totally innocent way, is going to end up fixing the tiles the right way. Madame Gazelle is going to be really pleased, but Mr. Bull won't, since unfortunately he'll lose one of his sources of income. Will Bruno get scolded by his dad after that? Ron Rabbit. There's another little bunny coming to the show, and his name is Ron, but this time he's Mrs. Rabbit's baby. And of course, this character is going to be a big-time businessman in the future, but the show's production hasn't answered yet how the town will cope after he's born, since Mrs. Rabbit is the hardest working person in the world, and when her baby arrives, she'll need to take care of him. It's almost certain that she'll end up taking Ron Rabbit to work with her. Can you imagine a baby bunny in rescue scenes, crying while mommy saves people from danger? That's gonna be hilarious. Ron Rabbit will probably be the richest boy in the series and have the best toys. Most likely everyone will love playing at his house. What do you think about that? John Wildboar. The next character isn't exactly a new baby. In fact, he's about the same age as Peppa. John Wildboar is a boy who's expected to arrive as early as next season. A family of wild boars needs to arrive in Peppa's town, and that's because this animal is very common in England. In other words, it's a typical animal for the show's home country. John Wildboar is a special character because it's almost certain he's going to be the protagonist's first boyfriend. Pigs and wild boars are similar animals, and our little piggy is probably gonna fall for him. Of course, Pedro Pony won't like that at all, but the truth is, since Peppa is going to grow up, the arrival of the wild boar is a way to show that our main character will have new stories and new problems, including the famous love triangle. Whether the wild boar and the pony will fight for Peppa's love, we'll find that out in the next episodes. But who are you rooting for? We're rooting for you to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Peggy Pig. Now, a character who's already confirmed for the future is Peggy Pig. This little piggy is the daughter of Aunt Dottie and her boyfriend, who we're going to meet very soon. Peggy, unlike the other pigs, will be a character who was born in the United States, but we still don't know exactly where in America this little piggy will be from. Here's what we do know. She's definitely not from New York, Texas, or California. That's for sure because when the pig family traveled to the United States, they didn't visit Aunt Dottie, meaning Mommy Pig's sister doesn't live in any of those places. Peggy will be a piggy who loves fashion and wears a sparkly dress just like her mom, but will she like living in Peppa's town in the future? Let's find out next season. Dan Duck. There are some animal species that have never appeared in the show, and our info says the big new thing in the upcoming seasons will be the ducks. The name of this new character is Dan, and he's a duckling who comes from a family of sailors. Peppa's World has had lots of sea references with pirates and boats, but it's about time to show an animal that actually lives in the water. That's why Dan Duck is going to be such a special character. He'll probably teach his new friends how to swim, dive, and steer boats. It hasn't been revealed yet if Dan Duck will be a little one around Peppa's age or George's, but since the idea is for him to help his friends in swimming lessons, it's pretty likely he'll be older. Does this mean the rule of showing only mammal characters is over? Leo Chameleon. Leo Chameleon is another baby from a new species that's coming to the show. We already know that intelligent reptiles exist in the cartoon because of Mrs. Crocodile. But Leo is special because he has a superpower. This character can change colors. Can you imagine how cool it's going to be when he shows off this ability? Everyone's going to love being friends with a character like him. How about you? Sarah Sheep. Remember Susie Sheep's cousin Charlotte? She's also going to have a baby called Sarah Sheep in upcoming episodes. This character is a girl who's going to be a great friend of Evie, just like Peppa is friends with Susie. The two of them will play and grow up together for many years, just like you and our channel. That's why we've picked out 2 more videos for everyone to enjoy. We'll see you in the next video. See you soon!